baby's heart? Or can a child's smile change a dog's world? This story began in a home where love needed no words. Chris was a dog with golden fur that shone brightly, always carrying a spark of curiosity in his eyes. Every morning he would hear tiny footsteps in the hallway, followed by that familiar laugh. It was Luis. He was only 2 years old, but his heart was huge. And in that heart there was a special place for Chris. So how could a baby and a dog become so close? Chris had waited at the front door of the house on the day Luis was born. When his mother came home from the hospital with the baby, Chris quietly approached them, sniffed, then bowed his head. It was as if he said, "Hello, little friend, I will protect you." From that day on, the two were inseparable. Before Luis learned to play, Chris had learned to walk beside him. When Luis laughed, Chris would wag his tail in response. Everything was natural, simple, and part of an indescribable bond. But one day those laughs stopped. Luis had fallen ill. It started with a slight cough, then grew worse as the days passed. The doctors were concerned. His illness may not have been serious, but it would be long. His mother cried, his father was silent. But Chris, he just waited at the door. Every morning he would come to the door of the room and scratch gently with his little paws. If allowed in, he would enter, sit by the bed, and place his nose on Luis's hand. So what was Chris feeling at those moments? Can a dog truly understand the pain of his human friend? Chris seemed to understand. If Luis was in pain, Chris's tail would droop. If Luis's face smiled, Chris's eyes would sparkle and he would snore softly, resting his nose on the pillow. The doctors said, "Luis's morale is very important. Talk to him, give him hope." But sometimes no words can be as powerful as the silent presence of a friend. Chris knew this. When no one entered Luis's room, Chris would quietly slip in and curl up at the edge of the bed. When Luis closed his eyes, Chris was on guard. A dog was protecting a little boy's heart. As the days passed, the atmosphere in the house changed. Luis now wanted to hear the birds singing outside. "Can I see Chris?" he asked one morning. His mother wiped her tears and nodded. The door opened, and Chris came in. At that moment, a smile appeared on Luis's face for the first time in months. Chris slowly approached the bed and rested her head on Luis's chest. Their heartbeats merged. In that silent moment, two hearts had started a miracle. So does love really heal? Perhaps there was something there that medicine couldn't explain. Days later, Luis began to get up. Chris walked beside him just like before. With every step, another miracle happened. The doctor was astonished. "We didn't expect him to recover so quickly," he said. His mother just smiled. Because she knew. Love played a part in this recovery. The part of a dog's patience, loyalty, and silent sacrifice. Chris was reborn with every laugh from Luis. He was no longer just a pet but a brother. They played games together, built castles out of pillows, and had little escapades in the kitchen. Everything was beautiful again. But the scars of those difficult days had taken the bond between them to a whole new level. One day, Luis drew a picture with his pastel crayons. In the picture was himself, with Chris beside him. He wrote underneath, "Chris healed my heart." His mother cried when she saw the note. Chris just wagged his tail. Maybe he didn't understand the note, but he felt it. Because he was already a friend who knew how to read hearts. So do miracles really only come from the sky? Or do they sometimes come from a four-legged heart? Chris still lives in that house. Luis has grown up now and goes to school. But every morning when he leaves the house, a hand always strokes Chris's head. And a voice whispers, "If I'm healed, it's because of you." Maybe real heroes don't speak. They just love, wait, and never give up. Chris and Luis's story is not just about the friendship between a child and a dog. It is a story of silent sacrifice, unconditional love, and hearts that believe in miracles. Because sometimes a dog is not just a friend. It is hope. That night the city was very quiet. A lone shadow walked beneath the streetlights. A trembling, wet dog, hope shining in its eyes. Water dripped from its body, its steps had slowed considerably. Who knows how many days it had gone without food or water, who knows how many times it had been chased away by how many people. But that night its fate would change. Because a pair of eyes had fixed on it from the window of a small house and were watching it. A tiny baby, A little angel named Emma was leaning against the window, smiling at the dog outside. When her mother noticed, she rushed to the door and said, "No, Emma, you can't go outside, it's raining." But Emma started to cry. It was as if her heart wanted to touch that dog. The woman had no choice but to open the door. The dog didn't come in, it just bowed its head at the door. It was so exhausted. But there was something in those eyes. It was like a please sound. The woman knelt down and said, "Okay, you're not alone anymore." At that moment, the dog licked the woman's hand as if it understood her words. And from that moment on, their lives changed completely. The mother named the dog Max. Max was very shy at first. He would wander quietly around the house, often lying next to Emma's crib. It was as if he was keeping watch over her. As Emma grew, Max became her closest friend. They ate breakfast together, played together, even slept together. Emma's first word wasn't mama, it was Max. When that word echoed through the house, everyone laughed and cried. But happiness doesn't always last, does it? One morning, the back door was left open. It was raining. Max heard a sound outside. Was it a cat or another dog? He ran. The door didn't close. It blew open in the wind. And Max never came back. Sometimes a dog is more than just an animal. It is the missing piece of our hearts. The bond it forms with a child is beyond words. It can only be felt. Thought balloon. So what do you think? Can a dog truly be family? Write your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what you think. Days passed. Emma cried, didn't eat, didn't touch her toys. Her family put up posters everywhere, but Max was gone. That little heart had learned for the first time what missing meant. One afternoon, the sky was filled with rain again. Emma looked out the window. "Mom," she said in a quiet voice, "will Max come back?" Mom couldn't answer, she just hugged her. But just then, a familiar bark came from the door. Emma jumped up and ran barefoot. She opened the door and there he was. Max, soaking wet but smiling. He was wagging his tail, his eyes saying, "I'm home." At that moment, Emma shouted, "I knew it, Max wouldn't leave me." Mom cried, Dad hugged her, and laughter echoed through the house once more. Max went to the crib, sniffed Emma's hand, then laid his head on her lap. The home was complete. Subscribe to our channel for new stories and comment on the video you watched. You can decide the next story, just mention it in the comments.